Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you represent. Throw up your flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube, after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead and click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. Family, it's going down. It's going down in a real way. We are simulcasting Facebook and YouTube. So get to know each other and keep it respectful. A whole lot to talk about in the news today. We got breaking news. We'll double back on that. But right now, we're talking about Ice-T and the criticism that he received from so many people because he picked DMX over Tupac, his friend. Yeah, fam. Then we got the story of CJ Stroud, the Texans quarterback, who says, when my daddy get out of prison, I am going to employ him. And people lost their minds about that. Why are so many people in the folks' personal business and preferences? What's the deal with all of this, man? It's madness. You got the black veteran who then went off on Donald Trump and Pete Hedgeseth. I mean, he going off. The man say, you got these racists running around here with Confederate flags and swastikas. You making them think it's cool. I done went out here and served 3 tours of duty for this country, put my life on the line, and you treat me the way you treat me in this country. F all y'all and your children. Well, he didn't say your children, but he wanted to say it. Yeah, you know he wanted to say it. Let's get into it, fam. Our first story. Breaking news out of California. This is sad, fam. This is sad. We got some uncivilized mutt who pulled up at a kid's party and aired it out, killing kids and adults.
Thank you for joining us for Late News Tonight. I'm Nazi Javid, continuing our breaking news coverage of the deadly Stockton mass shooting at what's being described as a children's birthday party in a banquet hall. This happened shortly after 6 o'clock this evening on Lucille Avenue near Thornton Road. Investigators calling it a targeted attack. A family event, a party ending with gunfire on Thanksgiving weekend. You can see the map here on your screen where this happened. We also have video from the scene. We know that it remains active out there, and we have crews there standing by as investigators say a suspect is still on the run tonight. Here from San Joaquin District Attorney Ron Freitas.
It's our understanding at this time that the individual responsible is still outstanding. If you have any information as to this individual, reach out immediately. And if you are this individual, turn yourself in immediately.
A call from the DA there. Take a look at your screen. Investigators want you to have this number. Please jot it down. If you have any information about what happened tonight or a possible suspect, please call Stockton Crime Stoppers. The number is on your screen. That's 209-946-0600. Again, 209-946-0600. You can leave a tip anonymously. And we go now to our live team coverage tonight. ABC 10's Gabriel Porras and Roxanne Elias have been out at the scene throughout the evening for us, gathering details. And we start with you, Roxanne. You just heard from the mayor and investigators. Emotional moments. What can you tell us tonight?
This is heavy. It's warm. Loads of pockets. I'm impressed with it. This is the Bearskin tactical hoodie.
Thousands of men around the world already love wearing the bearskin hoodie instead of their regular hoodies.
Well, Nazi, with this being the Thanksgiving weekend here, this tragedy has truly hit all of the Stockton community pretty hard, including city leaders and the massive law enforcement response you see here behind me as they look for that suspect or multiple suspects that may have been responsible for this shooting so that they can hold them accountable.
This is Thanksgiving weekend. This is when families come together, celebrate, share memories, give each other love. And unfortunately tonight, heaven is a little bigger with the individuals, children, and adults that unfortunately do not make it.
In an emotional statement, Stockton Mayor Christina Fugazi offered her support to her community following a shooting at a banquet hall near Lucille Avenue Saturday night. San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office spokeswoman Heather Brent sharing that 14 people were shot, 4 of them killed, including children.
It is unfathomable that there are young children who are harmed, that there's anybody who is harmed in this, and our hearts go out to those victims, to their families, and to our community. Do you have any further questions at this time? Okay.
Multiple agencies and city leaders are vowing to seek justice for the victims who were shot at a family gathering. District Attorney Ron Freitas calling the tragedy unthinkable and pleading with his community and asking the person responsible to turn themselves in.
When this individual is caught, you have my promise that you will have the full force of my office's resources in holding this individual fully accountable.
Mayor Fugazi also calling on her city to do better and speak up if they know anything.
Who did this? If you know them, as the district attorney just said, please call Crime Stoppers. You can leave an anonymous tip. We've got work to do, and this type of violence, again, our city is better than that.
Now back out here live, I want to let you guys know exactly where we're at. We're at Thornton and Walden Avenue here. The intersection is still shut off to anybody driving through. Still a massive law enforcement presence here as they investigate. Now, just to recap really quickly, this all started to happen before 6 this afternoon at a banquet hall. San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office telling us that 14 victims, 4 of those people are dead, including children. Early indications suggesting this is a targeted incident, but detectives are out here working hard, trying to figure out what led up to the shooting. The main priority right now is trying to identify the suspect and hold that person or persons accountable for what happened here. I'm live in Stockton. Roxanne Elias, ABC 10.
Okay, fam. Let me just say this. When I hear the mayor step up and, she's looking so beaten, I hear the district attorney talk about holding people accountable and using the full sources of his office, or the full resources to hold this guy accountable. I know this time is not them, but I just can't help but think about how often they're part of the problem. The people who are actually in charge, the people who are actually working in law enforcement, many of them are dirty. They're wicked. I know this ain't their time, this particular time right here. It wasn't them this time, but they contribute to the murder and mayhem in Stockton, California. That's right, I said it. I'm not letting it slide, man. I'm not letting it slide. It's just, how they say, don't shoot the messenger. I'd rather say, go like, hey, man, I like the term, what is it? What's that term? What's the term? The term is, what I'm trying to say is when something happens and there is a blame to go around, sometimes it's the right message, but the wrong messenger, right? They just the wrong messenger to me, fam, because they're part of the problem. So miss me with the fake tears, because this is all they do. Every time a mass shooting happens, they get on TV, say some pretty words, say some tough words, And then, you know, the next day it's the same old thing. It's a rinse and repeat situation. Yes, I do believe that dude is going to be held fully accountable, but not because Stockton police is serious about bringing people to justice and serious about having a cohesive community. You know, I don't believe it's because they are serious about keeping the people of Stockton, California safe. They're going to hold them accountable because they don't want no competition. They don't like competition. They want to be the only ones that act reckless and gun down people in broad daylight. Shoot people at kids' parties or whatever. They want to be the only ones to be able to do that. They don't like competition. I know some of y'all say, man, what's wrong with this guy? What's wrong? Yeah, the fucking truth. Yeah, telling the truth. That's all that is. Ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm looking at all of it. I'm looking at all of it. I'm looking at the uncivilized mutt who is responsible for that shooting. I'm not giving him no pass, or he ain't getting a pass. So I'm looking at that uncivilized mutt. That uncivilized mutt need to be removed from society. He is unfit. He has proven himself to be unfit to walk amongst the civilized. But I ain't giving the rest of them no pass either, because they do it every day, all day, and they do it behind a system. They do it behind the badge and the gun and the authority. I don't like that. This uncivilized mutt will absolutely be caught, because you cannot commit brazen acts of violence in the good old United States of America, because they have to make people feel protected. You're never protected. You're never safe. Understand that. You're not safe in this country. You're not safe. The idea is to make you feel safe, make you feel protected. Because if you were safe and if you really felt protected, you wouldn't have an alarm on your car. You wouldn't have your windows up and your doors locked. You wouldn't be looking like this when you're coming out of the mall, looking all under your car, suspicious of a piece of paper that might have gotten stuck on your car some kind of way on your windshield. You know, you wouldn't have alarms all on your house. You wouldn't lock your doors at night. Shut your windows. You wouldn't be walking around with that strap. There's a whole lot of people who really aren't violent people per se, but they are afraid of the uncivilized, and they don't want to be a victim. So they arm themselves. You're not going to get away with brazen acts of violence in the United States of America, because the idea is that this type of thing really does not happen. And if it do happen, we got to get rid of it. Now, you can kill all the people you want. You just got to do it quietly. You got to do it on the cool, you know. You got to do like regular killing. Like, oh, we got into a fight, pop, 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 you know. That type of, you know, yeah, that's just regular, arrested, put in jail or whatever. We find you, we don't, you know. The brazen acts are akin to police officers being murdered. They're going to hunt you down. They got the resources. The police in this country, law enforcement in this country has the resources to solve 99% of all crimes in this country, but they don't, because they don't think you're worth it. They don't think your family members are worth it. They don't think your friends are worth it. But they solve about damn near 100% of all cops that get murdered. They solve about 100% of the crimes against cops when cops are murdered. They're really good at that. They use all of their resources. Line up the streets, saluting. Salute. Yeah. Be lining up the streets. They be crying. I didn't even know they could cry. They be crying and stuff. All at the hospital forming a line as the doctors come through with the gurney with their fellow officer fighting for his life. Yeah, it's something different when you kill one of them. It's strange to me. It's just always been strange to me that our tax dollars pay their rent. Our tax dollars pay for their kids' tuition. Our tax dollars pays for their vacations, the clothes on their back, the cars that they drive, the jewelry they wear. Yeah, our tax dollars pay for the food they eat. And when it comes to safety, when it comes to importance, it's like they are more important. The way that they operate is that their lives are more important than our lives. Where do they do that at? In the United States. In the United States. I don't believe that police officers should be given special consideration when they commit a crime. They should be held to a higher standard because they took an oath and they're trained. Like, we haven't been trained, most of us haven't been trained in the art of combat or even conflict. We haven't been trained in conflict resolution. So a lot of us, we don't have a set protocol. We have reaction. Like we're emotionally reactive, right? So if something happened, we do this. If something happened, we don't have a certain thing that we're supposed to do, and we've been taught how to do this, this. But the police have. They went to the academy. They've been taught, check this box, do this, and under this situation, this is what you do. Under this situation, we haven't been taught that. So that's why a lot of times you find yourself pulling out guns and shooting people and going to prison because you don't know the law and you don't know when you're supposed to shoot. You don't know when you can shoot first. You don't really know the law. And they bank on that. Again, I'm not giving the other guy any pass. It's just that this gets on my nerve when they try to act like they really care. And I know they don't care. They do not care. Well, prayers for the little children, and nobody should ever go through something like this, and prayers for the children, and man, they don't care like that. They don't care about us like that. They don't care about those kids. They out there right now somewhere pushing a little kid around, beating up a kid right now, harassing a kid right now. They got members of law enforcement right now somewhere harassing a kid. They don't care about those kids like that. So I'm not buying it. But this uncivilized mutt needs to be brought to heel. Yeah. You got a suspect loose in the community, and no one can describe anybody. They don't have a suspect. They don't have the identity. At least they say they don't. They will find them, though. They will absolutely find them. But, wow. Stockton, you really outdone yourself this time. Yeah. Yeah. I'm really sick of these useless officials fake crying. I'm really sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. Like, where is the description of the suspect? They never gave a description of the suspect, by the way. They never gave a description. And I see a lot of people who have been talking about Stockton. They say Stockton is not a good place to live. This is not me. I never lived in Stockton. Been to Stockton, but I never lived there. I didn't have any problems when I went, but there are many people who are saying they live in Stockton or they lived in Stockton. And they're saying that Stockton, California is not a good place to live. But you can say that about damn near every city in America. The trip part about it is anytime something happens in any one of these cities, it's the same type of response. If somebody got killed, if that shooting would have happened in Houston, somebody would have said, somebody would be all in the comments saying, man, that's why I moved from Houston. It's bad out there. You know, yeah, man, you know, don't move to Houston. It's bad. It's bad. You know, Houston is gone downhill. Blue, blue, blue. You know, that's all people say. That's what they do. Every one of these cities in America will have their turn at mass murder. It's so pervasive, and nothing is being done about it. When I say nothing, I mean nothing. They're not even, forget about gun control. They're not even spending money on mental health. They're cutting back on mental health. Mental health should be America's #1 priority right now. It should be the greatest expense. When we look at the lines, when we look at those expense items, when we look at that, mental health should be at the top because there are a bunch of sickos in this country running around. Yeah, a whole bunch of them. This is sad, fam. We are, in essence, looking for ghosts. We're looking for a ghost. They saying this person pulled out a pistol or whatever he had and killed 4 people, including children, injured another 10. And nobody knows nothing. Nobody's seen nothing. But they're going to find them. I promise you they'll find them. Because they got to find them so that they can reestablish that people feel protected. And they got to do that because if people don't feel protected, they're not out shopping. This is Christmas holidays too. Oh man, they finna find them. They got to be shot. Keep the economy rolling, keep the money going, baby. We got to find them. We got to make people feel safe. Got to make them feel safe. They ain't never going to be safe, but we got to make them feel safe. Keep that money going. Yeah. Keep the money machine going. That's what it's about. It ain't about solving the crime to bring the family closure. It ain't about none of that. It's about money. So they're going to solve the crime to sell people a false sense of hope. That's why they're going to solve that crime. People talk about, well, you know, maybe they need stricter gun laws. Okay, stricter gun laws, stricter gun laws. That's cool. Stricter gun laws is cool, but it is not the end all be all. It's not the be all end all. It's not the end. Like, that's not it. Remember, fam, shit, the gun laws were looser 30 years ago. And people wasn't doing all of this killing. This is America. Look, fam, everybody angry. Everybody mad. Everybody want to hurt something. Everybody's scared. And it's from the leadership because it starts at the top. It's from the leadership in this country, the horrible, horrible, bully, badass, gangster leadership in this country. The look out for me and my people and F you and yours mentality. That's where that come from. When people feel hopeless, they feel left out, they do crazy things. They do crazy things. And that ain't no excuse. That's a reason. This is disgusting. This is disgusting. Doctors, lawyers, engineers celebrating their annual banquet. And kids. Ain't nobody immune to this stuff, family. That's the whole deal. Nobody is immune. And guess what? We're coming up on Christmas. Holidays, you're going to always see a bunch of murder and mayhem. I don't know what it is. I guess I know what it is. In this country, we've been taught that Christmas is the most important day in the world. We've been taught Thanksgiving is time for family and we got to get together and no matter what. And if you ain't got no family, something wrong with you. You ain't got a family to celebrate with. You ain't got a girlfriend or boyfriend, something wrong with you. Yeah. So people feel left out, you know. You break up during the holidays. Now you doing with her what you used to do with me? I used to sit in that seat. I was sitting in that chair. That was my chair. Dude, pull up. Oh, you sitting in my chair. Pow. You invited him. Pow. It's your house. Pow. You get it too because you knew. Pow. You could have called me. Pow. You left me. Pow. Everybody get it. Just wild, wild west out here, family. It's going to get bad. It's going to get way worse. It's always bad during the holidays. There's always an uptick in violence during the holidays. Always. Let's talk about Ice-T. Ice-T went on record and straight up said, I love Pop. I was friends with Pop, but I just liked the more aggressive SHIT. When I first heard Where My Dog's At, I was like, yo, who the F is this? Ladies and gentlemen, Ice-T believes DMX was a better rapper than Tupac. What y'all think about that? Give me a thumbs up if you're riding with Pop. 2 thumbs up if you agree with Ice-T and say, nah, man, DMX got it. Let me see what y'all think. Let me see what y'all saying. See what y'all saying. My thoughts. Oh, man. First of all, I knew DMX. That was my friend. This is crazy. This is a crazy take. So DMX was my friend. I like Pop. I like the aggressive stuff. But that's why I also like Pac. Pac had the aggressive stuff and he had the smooth player stuff. My favorite guy, overall, Tupac. Overall, Tupac. Love both of those guys. Both of them brought so much to the table. What's going on here? What is this? Get that out of there. Yeah, so much of these guys brought so much to the table. So much to the table. Pac Pac with his, that's street anthems, the talking about politics and the system, and being relatable about the women, showing his vulnerabilities. And that's another thing about DMX. He did the same thing. Both of these guys allowed themselves to be vulnerable on record. And DMX obviously was the more aggressive, because even on his anthems for women, he was aggressive. That was Keisha and Sean. Like DMX was like the Teddy Pendergrass of hip hop. He's like always aggressive, right? Always on 10. So I absolutely loved what he brought to the table. The thing is that I think when it comes down to these favorites, people got to get off the gas and understand that these are personal choices, fam. And you can't get mad at somebody's personal choice. It's Ice-T's personal choice. Ice-T believes that, Pac is, that DMX is better than Pac. For him, it's his personal choice. And here's the thing, fam. I hear a lot of people talking about top 5 this, top 10, top 20. I surmise that whoever you have in your top whatever and whoever's your favorite is probably the one that you listen to the most. It's probably whoever you listen to the most. I see people doing these top something lists all the time, and people get mad every single time. These are personal choices. Now, I can see when people get mad when these magazines or blogs do it, because most of them know what the hell they're talking about. And a lot of times they're biased. They're really biased, because they'll go into a room and they'll have, let's say, they might have a whole room of writers, and every single dude that's writing be from the East Coast. Well, you know who their number one guy gonna be, right? It's gonna be an East Coast rapper. And you know who mostly they're gonna have in their top whatever. It's gonna be East Coast rappers. If you likewise do the same, and that publication is based on the West Coast and they have West Coast writers, they're gonna have West Coast in their top. Same thing with the South. If they from the South, it's gonna have top, most of the artists gonna be from the South. Haven't seen that happen yet. Well, I've seen it happen on a couple of vlogs, but other than that, not any of the major publications. They're usually East Coast East Coast writers, So you can't get caught up in all of that kind of stuff, fam. But those top whatever lists, when they're written by magazines, major publications or whatever, they do have some weight, because for people that don't really understand hip hop, don't know nothing about it, or who are on the fence, who really ain't got their own opinion, they can easily be swayed by the opinion of others. They can easily be swayed. And in their mind, such and such is top guy. And whoever they say is top guy is top guy. And it's always been like that, but it's even worse today. Most of these publications that are out today, especially the big one, I'm talking about the big ones especially, they don't know a damn thing about hip hop. They don't know nothing about hip hop. No, I mean zero. Their writers are straight up trash. They don't know nothing about hip hop. So these guys, you can't really trust what they're saying. You can only go by your personal experiences, fam. You go by your personal experience, your personal likes. This is Ice-T's personal like. This is what Ice-T said. This is who he likes. This is who he likes. Your personal choice is going to be who you ever listen to the most. Whoever you listen to the most, that's probably going to be your favorite rapper. Whoever you listen to the most is probably going to be your favorite rapper. You know, it's going to be at least in your top 5 or your top 10 or whatever. Whoever you listen to the most, that's who's probably going to be in your top 5, your top 10 or whatever. And it's damn sure if you're in your 40s or 50s, it ain't going to be no new dude. It's going to be those guys who you grew up on, who gave you that nostalgia, who you remember driving from college on that road trip with back to the house, and, you know, who you stuck into that deck and you just jammed all the way through and put it on repeat. It's going to be the one when you met your girl, or you got into a little drama, or you was making those moves, dropping off those packs. You know, it's going to be that dude, right? That's who's going to be in your top 5, top 10 or whatever, because that's that nostalgia. That's the one that tapped into your conscious. So Ice-T saying that DMX is his favorite guy don't bother me at all, because how can you argue with that anyway? Both of these guys were great at what they did. They did it better than anybody. Both of them. You can't lose either way. You can't lose if you go with DMX. You can't lose if you go with Pop. Both of them put it on the line. Both of them had passion. Both of them, brought a certain energy that cannot be duplicated by anybody. But Pac was the guy. DMX was my friend, but Pac was that guy for me as far as like listening to hip hop, and as far as that main guy that I listened to the most, it was Pac. And I think also because he was so relatable to my experiences, stuff that I went through. It was relatable. So, and he could talk about various issues and be on point. Like I never myself was a one-trick pony. I could cover politics, I could cover the women, I could cover street activity, I could cover social issues, and I can go on and on like hell. So I appreciated Pac's diversity, how he could easily switch gears and just, if he wanted to make some music, make you feel good, make you feel proud, boom, he in pocket. He want to make something that a tearjerker, he could hit you with a tearjerker, make you feel sad. Something to motivate you, he had the motivation. He had it. He wanted to cover politics, boom, he in pocket. Every single time he switched gears, he was in pocket, and he did it at the highest level. So I ain't got no problem with it. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Now, let's get into CJ Stroud, the Texans quarterback. There are people out there who are mad at CJ Stroud. They are mad because CJ said that when his daddy get out of prison, he's going to give him a job. Anybody got a problem with that? CJ say when his daddy get out of prison, he's going to give him a job. I ain't got no problem with that, but some of y'all do, so let's talk about it. I went on this site, fam, and I saw this story, and I'm not going to even tell you what site it is, because I don't really want to, I don't want to prejudice you against the site, because I don't necessarily think it's the site itself, but the people that are in this particular comments, oh man, they out of pocket, man. They are out of pocket. So CJ Stroud is all about family. And he's saying that he's going to get his daddy to come work with him at his foundation when his daddy get out of prison. The Texas quarterback opened up about his plans nearly a decade after his father, Coleridge Bernard Stroud III, was sentenced to Folsom State Prison near Sacramento. Stroud's dad is currently serving a 38-year sentence after pleading guilty to carjacking, kidnapping, robbery, and misdemeanor sexual battery in 2015. Damn. So he's only been locked up for 5-10 years on a 38-year sentence. He coming home? Stroud said his dad remains his best friend, and when he gets out, he plans to bring him into the C.J. Stroud Foundation, which supports single mothers, kids of incarcerated parents, and criminal justice reform. I'll let y'all hear what he had to say, what C.J. had to say about this, and then we'll talk about some of these comments, man. Some of these comments are cold-blooded, man. This is cold-blooded. But let me get this pick off the screen and pull this one up.
Working with your mom, I know sometimes it can be a little bit of overwhelming and everything, but like, how does it feel working with your mom, who's gorgeous, by the way?
Oh, thank you. Yeah, she's amazing. Like, she's so sweet. Girl, it's funny because I always make fun of her. She probably get mad at me for saying this, but she was strict, man. Like she give whoopings, and she ain't played. She played zero. She played none. But I appreciate my mother for the things she's taught me. And I think she's one of a kind. She has a heart for people. And one thing that God has put into her is she can speak life into people. I've seen my mother pray for people, and I see my mother even in the times of her hurting and her going through a lot. She's spoke life into people, and I think just her heart and compassion for others has been amazing. So, man, it's a blessing to work. My brother actually works with it as well, and my sister.
Oh, good.
So it's very family oriented, and also my dad's actually incarcerated, but hopefully he'll be coming home soon. And he'll be a part of it as well. So it's very family oriented, and I'm just very grateful to have everybody in my family to be able to be a part of it.
Good. So when your dad, I don't know if you don't want to talk about this, but when your dad gets released, you want him to help within the program. You want to reconnect and everything.
Yeah, because in his situation, he's been in jail for about 10 years now. So he's seen people come in, come out, and he just has a heart for people like me and my mom do as well. And so he has a lot of ideas on giving to people in the halfway homes, and he's probably like my best friend, like other than my mom and some of my other best friends. But yeah, me and my dad are very, very close. But yeah, he doesn't just want to do that. He has other things in mind. But yeah, I think having it family oriented is dope because that's how I started off. You know what I mean? So I think in his perspective, being formerly incarcerated, he'll have a whole different branch that we can go down to help people, because that's our goal. So my mom has things that she's been influenced by. I have things. My dad will have his things. My brothers and sisters do. So I just think it's dope that you can find different ways to impact people.
Okay, fam. So what do you think about that? Let me tell you what. Look, I already gave it up, fam. I didn't realize that damn watermark was on there, but yeah, I was on TMZ Sports, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and tell you. I might as well go ahead on. The cat is out of the bag. The cat is out of the bag. These are comments that I saw on TMZ Sports. Child, your daddy ain't right. Somebody else said, wow, nothing like having a convicted rapist, father or no father, as your best friend and whatnot. Things like this is why I don't want to know much about my favorite stars, athletes, or entertainers. because the vast majority are weird as hell in real life. CJ and I grew up in the hood. Lou, I told kids I joined the military to break the cycle. CJ broke the cycle. So if dad is your best friend, so be it. The single mom is very proud of your mom. This single mom is very proud of your mom. Sounds really trustworthy to be working for a foundation. Wait for the embezzlement. Football Sundays are the best. Dems, libs will disgrace because they would rather be miserable and complain about MAGA and Trump. CJ is a good Christian man. I like his team getting 3.5 versus the Colts. In sum, CJ will make bad life choices with that pledge, just like his felon father. He'll die in prison, genius. Boy, LOL. I thought it was in the next year, so better wait to see if you even have a foundation and if Pops is released. Then I look at the charges, and have him around women and kids. So it appears that their biggest bone of contention is CJ Stroud dad being involved in the SAN. And so I did a quick search on that, and his father, again, I mentioned, was caught up on carjacking, kidnapping, robbery, and misdemeanor sexual battery. Don't know what that misdemeanor sexual battery was. So let me ask around. Go in these internet streets and ask around. Here we go. Okay, his father, misdemeanor sexual battery charge stemmed from a 2015 incident where he groped a woman while attempting to carjack her to buy drugs. This incident, which was connected to a drug-related crime spree, is part of a larger conviction for carjacking, kidnapping, and robbery that also resulted in his current prison sentence. The incident, it says, in April 2015, Coleridge, under the influence of drugs, forced his way into a woman's car at a traffic light and demanded she drive him to purchase drugs. The woman managed to escape during the struggle, and she later told police that Stroud had groped her during the incident. The other charges, the sexual assault charge, was one of several that Stroud pleaded guilty to in 2015, along with carjacking, kidnapping, and robbery. So the question is, fam, we know what he did, right? Do he get another shot? Do he get a chance to redeem himself after doing what he did? He pled guilty to it. Let's assume he really did do it. Do he get a shot? If it's your daddy, do you hire your dad? Do you give your daddy another chance? Do you consider the fact that he was under drugs, under the influence of drugs? He was under the influence of drugs. Does that even matter to you? Does it matter? He did what he did. He's doing time for it, 10 years so far. When you get out, do you discard your daddy? Do you get rid of him? Or do you give him another chance, at redemption? What do you do? I can tell you right now that most of those people that's talking are hypocrites. They're hypocrites because they got a dude in office right now who is in the White House right now who has admitted to groping women without their permission. like this is what he do. And they voted for him to be the president of the United States. But they don't want CJ Stroud's dad to work at a foundation. They don't want him to have, they don't want him to work with his son. He's not even running for president. They just don't even want him to get out and have a life, period. Some people, I do believe, that are just unfit to live in society, and they're not fit to have it. You shouldn't give them a second chance, because it just depends on certain things that you do. You know, you got to consider the circumstances, right? Certain things that people do is just unforgivable, and they can never redeem themselves. My point is, if you believe that dude is unredeemable, then you got to believe the same thing for Trump. But that ain't how Trump supporters operate. Just like Trump, they have a do as I say, not as I do mentality. So what's good for the goose is not good for the gander in regards to the way that their minds are designed. And when I say the way that their minds are designed like scrambled eggs. You dig what I'm saying, fam? There ain't no real rhyme or reason why they say a lot of the things that they say. It's just that they want to have special privileges. They got a dude that has been found liable for actually essaying a woman. He's been found liable in a civil court. The dude has been caught on tape admitting to groping several women, admitting to it. He said, this is what I do. I grab them by the That's what he said. This is what I do, man. This is what I do. This is what I do. I grab them by the you know what. That's what I do. That's what he said. Okay? And they voted for him anyway. Not to mention that he has dozens of cases that have been brought against him. At least he's been accused of dozens of essay cases. Like dozens of women have accused him of essaying them. Dozens. And they made him the president. And they want to take pictures with him. And they love his dirty draws. Hypocrites. Mother. Hypocrites. I can't stand you. And I know who you are. I see you. I see you. I know who you are. Yeah. I know who you are, and I do not trust you. And I do know that the only reason why you don't want CJ Stroud daddy working with him, you don't care nothing about victims of SA. You do not care. You don't want a black man and his son working together. That's all it is. You don't want to see another black man come up. You don't want some, you know if that man get out of jail and start working with his son at that foundation, more than likely, he's going to make a full recovery. He's going to fully reintegrate into society. And he's going to better his life. He ain't going back to prison. And that's what you're really mad about. I know you. You uncivilized mutt. I know you. Yeah, that's what you're really mad about. That's what you're really mad about. You love the idea of a black man being separated from his children. And at the same time, you love to drag black men from being separated from their children. Make up your mind. What's it going to be? What's it going to be? Are you in support of black fathers or not? Are you in support of black fathers having wholesome, good, healthy relationships with their children or not? What's it going to be? You can't have it both ways. You uncivilized mutt. I see you. I know you. They love to push the narrative that black folks can't work with their family members. You idiot. Don't you know that most of the people in this country who became enriched with their family members and friends. The thing about family is that you know everybody's strengths and weaknesses, and you can put them in certain places based on their strengths and weaknesses. Some of the biggest, richest families in this country have family members who are dope fiends. And you know what they do? They make sure that dope fiend get a certain amount of money every single year, make sure that his housing is paid for. They can't control him putting dope in his body, but they can control him whether or not he lives on the streets. They can say, yo, we're going to set you up over here, or we're going to give you a job. We're going to give you a job, but we're going to make sure you got a job within the organization where you can't hurt yourself or nobody else. We're not going to let you hurt us. I've been around it, fam. I've been around it on the biggest level. I've seen how it go. They have the dope fiend working in the back, or the person who has some mental issues. They have him working in the mailroom, or they'll make him or her a talent liaison or something like that. He just give you like a little position, something, you know. And they're in the family, and they keep them at bay, and they don't let them come to certain events and meetings or whatever. They can't attend everything, and they know why. And everybody have that understanding, you know, and everybody knows that that's the F up in the family, you know, but they're still family, and we're not going to throw this family member away. But when it comes to Black folks, they try to make Black folks think that they can't work with each other, and they should not work with each other. And they despise Black nepotism. They despise when Black people put their children on. They despise when Black children put their parents on. Well, you know, you the child, they should be taking care of you, and you. But everybody else do it, and nobody says anything. But they're always trying to tell Black folks how to live their life and how they should have a relationship with their children. These are people that don't even like us. So what do I say to them? Kiss my ass where the sun don't shine. Kiss it. Not literally, because I know some of you really want to. I ain't talking to you, know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Know what I'm talking about, fam. Uncivilized much, can't stand you. Can't stand you. I know you. Family. And let's get into this case of this Black veteran who called out Donald Trump and Pete Hedgeseth, called him out. Like, this man was like, man, I done served this country, and y'all letting these Nazis walk around the streets of the United States of America. I done served 3 tours of duty, and y'all letting these racists, man, F all y'all. And your grandmammy. Well, he didn't say grandmammy, but he wanted to say it. Check it out.
Decide to say that it's okay to have swastikas and fucking nooses.
Let's go, baby, hell yeah! Well. I'm here representing the fucking wrath of my ancestors.
And look where the fucking country is at. How far has America fallen? Fucking pedophiles in office. Boys who took a shit in the halls of Congress. And the most racist fucking president in history. Talking shit about Black liberation. Motherfucking fake ass patriots on Facebook calling me a motherfucking nigger after I served this country for 22 years, 11 months and 4 days. 5 operational deployments. Cuba, 95. Bosnia, 96. Kosovo, 99. Hey, Pete, Whiskey Leaks Hedgeseth, I didn't see you here. Iraq, Afghanistan, 2013. Scam Bondi, I didn't see you here. You motherfuckers about to see the wrath. You can't do shit without Black people. Fucking war we fought this motherfucker. Allies over Nazi Germany, you motherfuckers prayed for us to keep them Germans off your ass and sky. How dare you talk that shit? You think Pete Whiskey Licks is ready for what's coming? No. You think you gonna stop this movement? No. It doesn't matter, man. At the end of the day, it's black liberation forever in this bitch, man. And whether it takes 10 months or 10 years, we're gonna be absolutely relentless in our fight against white supremacy. Fat fuck in the Oval Office, fuck Donald Trump. To say it's okay to have swastikas and fucking nooses. Never. Hey, veteran soldier should be like this. Every fucking Nazi is gonna be like this in part 2. Understand that shit. Understand that shit. We will never fucking back down. Black one, demons.
Well, all righty then. All righty then. Family, everybody ain't playing. And Buddy ain't playing at all. I don't know his name, but man, he came with the heat. He was not messing around. Buddy was dead serious. Yeah, and I love the diversity of the people on, standing alongside him and behind him. White man gave him the flag, gave him the F Trump flag. Got another white dude over there holding the U.S. flag. I don't know what that other flag was, but you got a nice cultural mix of representation there. Yeah, but Buddy hot. Hold the line, man. Just hold the line. Hold the line. These veterans have been in D.C. since August for almost 4 months of daily protest against the regime. Almost 4 months they've been in Washington. So I was about to stop the video real quick and drop some comments, but I was like, nah, let him cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Even the white dudes was on it. Even the white dudes were on it. Yeah, but it wasn't playing around. People are tired of this stuff, man. Like, I'm glad to hear a black veteran speak out like this and say what he mean and mean what he say. And not bow down. The way black veterans have been treated in this country, I mean, to go and actually to fight people who ain't never did nothing to you on behalf of this country that's led by people who have done stuff to you, and come back here and get treated even worse than you were treated while you were at war. I mean, there's been like thousands of black soldiers, thousands of black military vets who have returned to the United States and were lynched, who were ran off their properties, who were called the N-word. Like, black soldiers are not appreciated. It's one thing to risk your life for this country, put your life on the line. It's a whole other thing when that sacrifice is dismissed. Oh man, I couldn't do it. I'm straight up tell you, I couldn't do it. I'm glad things worked out for me because, in the music, because I had considered going into the Air Force upon graduating high school, but some things happened and it kind of derailed that. But before I did that, also, I was going to try my hand at boxing. So if the music wouldn't have worked out, I had boxing as a backup. That was my backup. And I was just going to literally fight my way out of the ghetto. So this is a bad thing right here, fam, where you have these veterans who are reduced to protesting against the country that they've actually fought for, saying, yo, man, this ain't cool. I'm not with that. This guy was not having it. He brought the smoke. He was cooking. Throughout history, we've had Black veterans who have went out and fought for this country, and their families were treated like trash when they got back. Hell, their family, while they were fighting for this country, were being discriminated against right here. Think about that. You're out fighting for your country, and you're on the phone hearing about how your little brother just got killed by some white supremacists. How your daddy just got hung. Think about that. Think about that, fam. That's heavy. That's heavy. And I'm seeing a lot of white veterans who are starting to speak out too. So as much as I like to see Black veterans speak out about this white supremacy, I love it, absolutely love to see the white dudes speak out about it, because that's really what it's going to take. All hands on deck, right? Roll call, all hands on deck. If you really are my brother, like you say you are, if you really rock with me like you say you do, if you ain't one of them, let it be known. Let it be known on your social media. Let it be known how you carry yourself. When you see racism, you attack racism, and you should feel it like I feel it. It should upset you just as much as it upset me, because remember, I'm your friend, and you should never want to see people take advantage of your friend or make your friend feel bad, right? I'm your friend. So when somebody uses these derogatory words and they say something against me or do something against me or do something to hurt me and my family, it should have some type of impact on you, enough impact on you to cause you to go into action and to help try to mitigate the damage. Sitting around and just saying that's messed up, that ain't good enough. If you ain't using your social media platform, I don't care if you have 100 followers, if you got 1 follower, no followers. If you're not using your platform to combat racism, silence is complicity. So that means you must agree with it. Or you're a coward, and if you're a coward, just say so. You can't claim to be my friend. You can't claim to be a friend of Black people. You can't claim to be against white supremacy and not put those thoughts into action to mitigate the damage that it does. You can't go along to get along. You gotta make a difference. You gotta do something about it, like the people who are directly affected by it. Because oftentimes, white people, because they are they are the ruling class, white individuals can oftentimes have more impact with their words and their actions than a Black person could, because they're part of the ruling class. So Buddy ain't said nothing wrong. He is hot. He hot, and so are other veterans, and they're ready to switch it up. They're ready for some change. Pete Hedgeseth is the Secretary of War, in case you wanted to know. He's the United States Secretary of War. He's the one that went to the general, stood in front of the generals and the admirals, and told them to get their ass on the treadmill. You're too fat. You know, we're going to shape up or ship out. Literally, shape up or ship out. So, wild times in the good old US of A. We'll see how that go. No more talk.